All's good. And how has your day been?
Good. It's been pretty productive. Just getting stuff done, getting ready to travel tomorrow. So I'm super excited for this week.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine. Especially like you really probably want to show like what you're made of, like the true you. And like I'm excited to
Yes.
know like we're gonna get into all that, but like the changes that you've made because you've also changed camps and
Yep.
probably started focusing on the things that you were missing in your game and becoming a very well-rounded fighter because I already thought you're very good. You're a lot better than your record shows because
Thank you.
there's gotta be a lot of record watchers, right? But
Yes.
look into it as well, how it went, who you fought. So it's one of those things. So let's start at the move. I mean, okay, let's start at the last fight. So the last fight you fought Luana Pinheiro,
Yes.
who is very grappling heavy, has some heavy hands too, right? But um, I also thought that fight was a lot closer than the result showed, right?
I completely agree. I definitely thought that I had the third round, and I thought I started way too late in the second. I started gaining momentum towards the middle of the second.
Mm.
So I mean, the first round was definitely hers. Second round could have gone either way, and the third round was mine. So I definitely thought that it could have been a split decision either way. But that's obviously not what the outcome showed, which is disappointing. But that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. I was watching with a friend too, and he's a casual fan, and it was also like, okay, so I think the first one you could give to Sam, and the last one, I was like, that could also be yours. It could be, right? But then there was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
was it all? I think there was like two 30-27s, which was,
yep. There
yeah,
was. I
not a
know.
good,
I was
yeah.
I was shocked by that. But Vegas, and that's why like going into this fight, I'm like, man, I cannot let it go to the judges because it could be super close. Because I know my opponent's super tough coming in, so it's gonna be really really hard. So I'm not trying to make it go to the judges at all.
And also like something big that people might not recognize is this is actually your first UFC fight where you had a full camp because the other three
Yes,
were all short notice, right?
yes.
So how does that
Which
change your approach?
is
And was it a conscious decision that you're like, okay, my next one is 100% gonna be a full camp?
Yeah. So changing camps was huge for me. Moving from Washington to Texas and making this move.
Mhm.
My coach right now, Save. So he is amazing. I mean, I got the matchup that I got because of him, and I'm just really excited to kind of showcase. I think we're both coming off of losses. Her and I are. So I think this is the best showcase for both myself and to show what I've got. And I've been working on it Fortis. So I think this is just an awesome opportunity, and I can't wait to showcase everything. And mentally, I feel like I'm the strongest that I've ever been going into a fight camp, and that could be because this is actually like the first full camp that I've had too. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, there's advantages on both sides. I feel like the short camp or no camp, you go in there with naivety maybe, or like, you're confident because you can risk it all. Maybe you don't put too much pressure on yourself. But then with this one, the full camp, you're like, oh, you really get to know what you're good at, and that gives you confidence.
exactly.
Right. But like, so what kind of conversation did you have to have with yourself after the last loss that really prompted this huge life change? Actually, you
Wow.
know.
Yeah, that is such a good question. I mean, for the past 2 years, I've kind of had the same conversations and asking myself the same questions. And it was, I think in October, really in November, that I was like, whatever the outcome is of my November fight, I'm gonna make this move because it's just time. I really wasn't in a good environment in Washington. The gym just became kind of toxic. It just wasn't like a healthy, nurturing environment. It just became, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And you kind of realize that. And it's funny because my parents were telling me for like 3 years, they're like, why don't you just move down to Texas? It's amazing. And I should have done it like 2 years ago, but you know how that goes whenever you're like, you start with a certain gym, and
Yeah.
me, I'm like, I'm very loyal. I'm going to be loyal to a fault. And so it's a pro and a con. So for me, that was a really hard decision. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to get better and how am I going to change? And it's like, I just need a deeper, I guess a deeper roster or better training partners, and just a healthier environment. And to me, that's what it really came down with, came down to, was just being in a healthy environment and something that's going to be very, very beneficial to my performance. And I think that's exactly where I'm at. It's funny, Nick, I've like been super happy since I've like moved to Texas, and just the training that I've gotten like every single day being at Fortis, it's exhausting and it's brutal. And it's funny because I get my ass whooped every single day, but like I've never been happier. I've got like the best training partners. Jen Frey, like that's one of my main training partners. And then a bunch of the other guys, some of them are amateurs, some of them are pros, but they're just amazing people. And it's like the environment where everybody's building each other up and everybody's constantly asking, do you want to stay after to drill more? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? So I'm just super happy, and I'm excited to showcase what I've been working on and the game plan that Safe and I talked about. So it's going to be really good.
I feel like that's like it exudes professionalism over there. Like everyone there, like when I see the names that are training there, that's it. You know, like it's just professionalism to the point.
Yes, and you summed it up in less words than I just used.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I need the inside experience from you as well, like technically as well. Like, what are some of the things you feel like have improved the most, you know, in your game, or things? What things do you think you were like looking at the last fight that you realized you were lacking that now you filled?
So a big one for me was my wrestling background. And I had worked with really good wrestlers up in Washington, but not to the extent that I really wanted to. And since I've moved here, Jen Frey's an amazing wrestler. I think she's probably the best wrestler in the strawweight division. So just working with her on a daily basis and being a sponge and soaking up as much information as she's given me, it's been pretty good, because we've traded off like striking, and the rounds that we get in with her and I is striking are crazy. It's like we have a UFC fight every single weekend.
It's one of those that I want to see. Yeah, like that. Send me the sparring footage one day. You know, that's definitely what.
We throw down, and so it's been awesome to work with her. And then Macy Chasen, like it's awesome to kind of pick her brain and be around her and work with her on like drilling sessions and things like that. So that's been really good. And then Fernie as well. He was a big training partner for me in this camp.
Okay. Like, so Macy, do you also like do wrestling with Macy, because she's a big girl too?
Yeah, she's a
How do you
weight
fare
classes up.
Yeah.
So it's mostly drilling with her, but yeah, sometimes we go live and she obviously has to pull back just because the size difference and stuff. But yeah, she's amazing. She's an amazing grappler, really amazing person too. So it's been really fun to work with her.
And on the technical end of like analyzing your opponent, so now Sam Hughes is fighting Istela Nunes March 16th or April 16th. Sorry, we're in April already. This Saturday, and Istela Nunes is a great Muay Thai fighter. Came from UFC, right? And she got out grappled in her first fight. You think she's anticipating like a grapple heavy game plan, and like, I mean, like what kind of what kind of tape are you tape studying? What are the coaches looking at? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, all the tape study. I've watched all of her fights. I know that she is very good in Muay Thai, but you know, so was Loma. So I know that she's going to be very kick heavy, very heavy puncher, things like that. So yeah, I'm excited not to go like toe to toe with her for the striking, but showcase, you know, some other things like my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu, and have some really tricky stuff that I've been working on. So that's been good.
And on the outside end, like on the outside of fighting, what are the biggest changes you've made to your life now that you've moved to Houston, and what things are you doing now that weren't possible in the past, like in Washington?
Yeah, I mean, I've been so fortunate. I've been super close proximity with my parents, and that's been like a huge game changer for me, because living in Washington, I think it was about 6.5, almost 7 years that I was away from family and friends. I mean, I had some friends up in Washington that I was pretty close with, but just being around family on a daily basis is like a huge battery recharger. Just to like spend dinners together, or just kind of sit around and drink coffee and hang out. And yeah, that's been a big component for me, that's like recharged and re-energized me as a person. Have that, I guess you could say it's balance. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is incorporating, being around family and friends and stuff, and feeling like I'm actually home instead of away.
Because I thought, that's the thing, I thought your family was in Washington. That's why it was so difficult to move away. Like,
yeah, and that was the biggest part of my move, is like, hey, I need better training, and I want to be around family. And it's like a no-brainer to be in Dallas. So yeah,
because I just spent like about 3 months in Jordan with family as well. And the reason I stayed so long is, well, one of the reasons, when they returned, lockdown came back here back then. Now it's all open again. But when I was like, I can move everything I'm doing remotely mostly now. I'm just setting up shop in the studio that one of the artists that I manage has a studio. I set up the studio there. I had everything set up there. I got so comfortable, and I realized the fact that family is there sort of takes away a lot of those like responsibilities in a way. Like in the back of your head, you're like, if I can't do a certain thing, or there's certain responsibilities that are minor that I don't have to think about anymore, because they will help me out.
Exactly. But, it kind of it takes a lot off your plate. And it's just good to be around family. There's really nothing better. And yeah, especially as I'm getting closer to 30, I'm like, oh man, I just need to be around family again.
If this all goes according to plan, right?
Yes.
You're gonna get this win. It's a big win. Like,
yes.
What's the next step? Like, what? Who are you? Do you have a name to call out? Is there like a strategy of like, how am I gonna pick my next opponent? And like,
yeah, so that's Nick. That's the biggest thing, is like, all I'm focused on right now is having the performance of my career this weekend, and getting that win, and showcasing like such a dominant fashion that I'm, because this is my fourth fight. So this is the last fight on my contract, and fingers crossed, I have a dominant performance, get a win, and then I can sign a second contract. So that's the biggest thing in the back of my mind, is like, you're fighting for your career at this point. So I want to keep that going, obviously. And so I'm just focused on one piece of that at a time. And then we'll see. But as far as matchups and things like that, I'll probably go back to my coach, Safe, and we'll kind of hash that out and see kind of who's next, or what would be a good route to kind of climb back up that ladder.
Hey, because if you get a viral finish, then there's another game you have to think about, which is like, how am I going to carry this on and promote myself? So but we'll see it when we get there. Is this the first time you've ever thought this way, like the one fight at a time attitude, and just like your entire attention, your whole energy goes into this one?
Yeah, that's been a big game changer for me. Since I've moved to Texas, I've been 100% focused on, the space between the ears and what's going on mentally with myself.
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest change was just being present in every single moment, being present in training, being present in whatever I'm doing at that moment. For me, that's been such a game changer that, I've felt like I've grown more. I've been so much happier. So yeah, being present was like a key takeaway key focus from this camp.
And how do you control those emotions? Like, how do you not allow yourself to get carried away, or or even if you face adversity, because like the chance is always there that you face adversity in a fight, and like, how do you compose yourself again? Because I feel like this is such an important fight that you're really gonna have to control yourself and compose yourself for like every second of it, right?
Yes.
Is there any mental training?
Yep. Again, it comes down. I've actually worked with a mental coach for this camp, and Dawn Fletcher. She's amazing. I love the stuff that she's her and I have worked on. So I think just being present is such a huge thing for me to even in the fight, whenever I know it's going to get difficult. She's a badass. She's tough. So I think just controlling what she can control and working on every step. It's like, okay, what's the game plan? Don't veer off from that. I've made those mistakes in the past where I veered from the game plan, but sticking to that game plan and working everything, and no matter how hard it gets, just pushing and saying, okay, well, this is the game plan. You keep at it, and she's going to break eventually. But I know the camp that I've just been through, it's like, man, I feel like I'm unbreakable at this point. And I'm just excited to showcase that.
Dude, I could tell there's like a different fire in you right now. Like, I like it. And this is what I like about about having return guests. Like, I haven't had many return guests. Like, you're the third maybe return guest. We haven't been doing this for too long either. But you get to know the people, and first of all, it's like easier chat. You know, like you're just easy into it more. But second of all, you just really, you know, you see the differences from the first time and the second time, and you can really tell like the mental game has changed, and I feel like it's a lot of it has been just mental for you. You know, it's not skill. Well, there's a lot of skill in it too, but like mostly it's the mental game that, you know, you had to like improve.
That was the biggest thing for me. And I mean, if we go back to that, the question that you asked right off the bat, it's like, what did I really focus on? It's like, I think the thing that was really hindering me in all my past UFC fights is my mental game. It's like, maybe on a scale from 1 to 100, like I've never like gone into a fight camp or a fight week and been like, I'm like solid this week, except for I would say maybe the fight going into Loopy, and then that got scratched.
Oh, the UFC made that one, right?
Yeah. So that one got scratched, but I was pretty confident going in there. But all the other ones, you know, I had like personal stuff going on, or you know, I was fighting, or you know, like fighting with people in my life and things like that. And so that was always, you know, a hindrance in my mental aspect of my game. And so that was probably like at like 40%, where now I can say like I'm at a confident, like 95% confidence level. And mentally just going into this week, it's like, man, it doesn't matter what happens this week, that I'm just sticking to that game plan.
So first time, no toxicity. Like first time, there's nothing else going on personally, like nothing significant.
Okay. First time.
Well, great then. So did you have a chat? Because I saw you recently. You were at WrestleMania. You were there with the champ, with Juliana Pinheiro, your girl. Who, by the way, like last episode, we had to go back, and I posted the clip, I think, after she won the title. And after I was like, I drunk texted you like that night when like I was like, what? Because my whole reaction was like, what am I watching? What the hell? Even though when I went back to the clip, we're like, this is sort of how we predicted she would win. In a way, because we were like, I was saying like the scariest thing about her is that she just does not care, and the way she beat Amanda's like, I'm standing there, I'm going to take the shots, you know, I'm going to take these hits, and I'm
going to throw them right back. Yep.
And because she's never faced that. She like, oh, I'm going to make her gas out by just keep throwing. I'm not going to back up, you know.
Exactly.
Did you have any fight talk with her as well? Any like tips you got from her, anything, or was it just fun?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We actually did talk a lot about that too. We talked about your podcast, and we talked about me predicting, you know, just like I was like, nobody can touch her mental like mental fortitude and mental aspect. It's so solid that you know, talking with her and kind of, you know, spending the evening with her, that was like, it was really cool. It kind of like gave me a reset and put things into perspective. And of course, she had some great words of encouragement to say. And Julie is such an amazing person that just being around her for the night, it was really, really nice. So yeah, her and I did get to talk about the fight, and she told me, you know, what she kind of thought, and that was really, really good. So kind of putting that in the back of my back pocket, and, you know, having Julie with me.
Hey.
So.
You got some tips from the champ. I mean, the biggest upset in UFC history, I think it was on the odds, right? So, and speaking of that, I mean, I did wager on her because these odds always tend to be stupid huge. I'm like, the fight is never that, you know, that's wide of a margin, really. I am going to place a bet on you and how you're gonna win, because I know how you're gonna win, and then I'm gonna show you after. I'm gonna post it. So how about we do that?
So much, Nick. I'm so happy that you're doing that.
Yo, I've been on fire with them.
Money down on my too.
You're gonna do it? Are you allowed to? You're allowed to, right?
Yeah, I'm allowed to.
Okay. I guess it's like different than betting on yourself to lose, right? So it's like that's not allowed.
Right, exactly.
Because then you're like throwing the shit. That's what I never got. Like sometimes in sports, there were sports teams that were like incentivizing other teams to beat their rivals. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna pay you extra if you win. And then the organizations were like stepping in and saying you can't do that. I'm like, but it's motivation. It's gonna make them play better. It's not like influencing them to lose, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think, but I heard from a lot of fighters like with fighting it's different. Like even like he publicly stated, who was it again? Who was the guy, New Yorker? Brian Kelleher, right? He had like his last fight on his contract, and he's like, I'm betting my entire fight purse on me winning so I can double it, and I'm just putting extra pressure on myself to win. So he didn't, but like in the end, so I don't know if he actually put the bet on, but he's still there. So
yeah, that would be really interesting to find out if he actually put the bet down, because I mean that speaks volumes. Like you're betting on yourself to win. That you have so much confidence in yourself that you're like, well, this is my fight purse. Fuck it,
Yeah, it says something to send a signal to the opponent as well. They're like, oh shit, maybe, they're really believe in themselves right now. So Exactly. I say you could also like put a fake, like I put 100K on myself just to scare the shit out of her. That'd be funny. Yeah. Anyway, lastly, like an evening like that. Well, it's not evening. It's 1 p.m. there. Like fight week. Right before you travel, maybe the last few days or the last weekend, like how do you unwind? What have you been doing like to unwind?
It's actually pretty cool. My brother came into town, when was that? Friday night. And so I've got to spend time with him, just kind of shooting shit. We went out, played a little golf over the weekend. I know you like to play golf too. So
I haven't done it. Like I've done mini golf. I said like we do want to do that. I do want to get into it. And the idea you had, because we had a conversation about like drinking on the golf course. Apparently that's like normal, that they just come by with a cart with drinks, right?
Yep, that's a normal protocol. So unfortunately, I was drinking water. I'll just put that out there. I was drinking water. So
this time, this conversation we had, let's say this was like a few months ago. So it's a couple of months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I think before the fight was even announced. So yeah.
Yep.
But so that's it.
Yeah. So
I think
honestly,
golf,
just hanging out with family is a big, stress relief for me. Being outside. Oh my God, Texas is amazing weather right now. It's like it's going to be like 92 today. Sunny, like it's beautiful. So can't really beat the weather, just walking around outside, getting some sunshine, and it's pretty amazing. So that's a huge stress relief for me.
Oh, we are going to have fantastic weather tomorrow. And the funny thing is tomorrow's going to be fantastic. The other days after that, it's going to be all right. But tomorrow is the day I'm inside. The other 3 days I'm going to be outside. So it's like, this is how the universe is for me. If I come to Texas to play golf, it's going to rain. I'm telling you. Even
hey, that sounds good. We'll go golfing if you come to Texas. And we'll probably go to a couple bars too.
Definitely. Isn't Houston like Houston is the music city, right? They got all the music.
Yeah,
right?
Austin's really big.
Austin
and
is.
There's always concerts. Like every single weekend, there's always stuff to do.
That's my
you're never bored on the weekends, that's for sure.
Definitely. Well, we have to arrange it. And definitely let's make sure you get that second contract. And then we'll catch one of your fights as well at the same. So I need to do one of these US tours
between the two of us.
Definitely. No, you can always come on. I like we have a connection now, so you can always come on whenever you want.
Perfect. So, perfect. I'm excited.
Hey, thank you for coming on. Do you have any shout outs you want to do before we go?
Oh man. First off, I want to thank you for bringing my coach safe, Charles Bird, Alex Trans, just the guys that I've worked with throughout this camp. Dr. Travis Mann, he's been great, kind of put me back together whenever I've had some scuffles in the gym and stuff. So that's been really good. And just my family and friends. I'm just really thankful and really happy where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Well, good luck. I'll be looking forward to it. I'll be looking forward to it more than any other fight on the card. Let's. I'll show you the bet slip after. you just don't, no pressure. You just do your thing, and I'll show it after. Hey,
perfect.
Have a good day.
You too.